Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn is the latest film to enter the DC Extended Universe. This movie takes place a couple days after the Joker and Harley Quinn have broken up. She's on her own. She's trying to become her own person. But because of a man named Roman C. Onus, who is a big crime boss here in Gotham City, he causes a lot of problems for her and other characters in Gotham City, like the Huntress, Black Canary, Cassandra Cain, and Renee Montoya. And this film tells the story from Harley Quinn's perspective about how they are all kind of tied together and how they eventually need to work together. My thoughts on the DC Extended Universe have been a little weird, especially when rewatching them in preparation for this movie, because it's been a while since I've seen a couple of them. Man of Steel, I was honestly really surprised how much that movie kind of dropped in quality for me. I was literally not expecting to dislike it as much as I did, but I did. Batman v Superman was about as stupid as I remember it being, but obviously it got worse. Suicide Squad did not hold up well at all either. But the thing about Suicide Squad was that after that movie came out, they were already talking up about how they had big plans to do other spin-offs with these characters. Like, they were going to do one about the Jared Leto Joker, not the Joaquin Phoenix one. They were going to do one about Deadshot, played by Will Smith, and they had several Harley Quinn movies planned. A Harley Quinn Joker movie, Harley Quinn Gotham City Sirens movie, which I think might still be happening, I'm not sure. And then, of course, this movie, The Birds of Prey. And when all of these stories kind of dropped as far as like what movies were in development with DC, I was like, this is really a lot to process as far as what you're going to do. It doesn't seem like you guys have a concise plan. I'm just kind of checked out. And it really doesn't help that although I really love Margot Robbie in the role of Harley Quinn, the writing for her in Suicide Squad was really bad, and I honestly just could not care more about a movie about her. Luckily though, the trailers kind of got my interest, but all the other DC trailers have gotten my interest at some point, so I was obviously very wary going into this movie. But walking out of this movie, I was really happy that they got the creative team that they did behind this, because this was a really fun movie that surprisingly, although it has a character that I didn't particularly like overall in my least favorite DC movie, Suicide Squad, this is my favorite DC movie now. I feel pretty confident in saying that. Sorry, Shazam, which I also really like still, but Birds of Prey, man, this one really got to me. The obvious thing to mention, of course, is that Margot Robbie really does kill it as Harley Quinn. I liked her in Suicide Squad, just they needed better writing for her. They needed better jokes for her, and they gave her that. They gave her better material to work with, so we have a much better characterization of Harley Quinn in this one, which was a lot of fun. But what makes that really cool, too, is that in the beginning of the movie, they explain Harley Quinn and the Joker broke up. It's because they don't want Jared Leto in this. It kind of helps that he was not very good as that Joker, so I was kind of fine not seeing him at all in this one. But it is kind of a lame excuse for when you can't bring certain actors back. Just go, oh, we broke up if you're in that specific scenario. But for this movie, it kind of works because once that happens, she begins this self-discovery kind of journey about herself, while also discovering how she has wronged a bunch of people that are now after her, that because she doesn't have the protection of the Joker now, they feel like it's open season on trying to kill her. And it created a lot of funny gags for her to interact with. It created a fun story for her to be engaged with. The movie opens with her narrating about her past and how she kind of got to the point where she is now. And it's kind of done in a fun, like really neat kind of way that I honestly wouldn't have thought of doing if I was in the director Kathy Yan's position. Like I honestly was thinking like, I would not have thought to have done it like this. I don't know if it's her decision directly or if it's some producer somewhere, but that was really cool. They have a lot of great choices made throughout this movie creatively. It's a movie where the style is there, but it's not in your face. It's not like overbearing to the point where you don't want to watch the movie anymore. It has a really great style to it directing wise, and it's got some really great decisions made on how to tell the story, because like I said, it's told from Harley Quinn's perspective, so you get her realization of things that have been going on that are now brought to the forefront. But because Harley Quinn is the narrator of this movie, kind of like in a Deadpool way, hey, but not exactly. It's like she's very subtly breaking the fourth wall, which I really liked. That was like kind of one of those things where I was like, oh, that's really clever. I'm glad that she wasn't just like outright doing it, because that's just kind of a Deadpool thing. I like the way she did it. Like, she brought her own madness to explaining the plot of this movie. But as it goes along, it's not one of those narrating things where it's like, okay, shut up, I don't want to hear you explain everything. It's not like Gretel and Hansel, where the majority of the movie was Sophia Lillis explaining things that don't really need to be explained. The way Harley Quinn narrates this movie, she makes it really entertaining, more so than it is, because the way it's written by Christina Hodson, it makes the story a lot more engaging as well, because at certain points it goes back in time, like, okay, this is what happened a couple days ago to get you kind of caught up here, kind of in a non-linear kind of way, and I thought that was really cool. I was really digging that kind of writing style with this movie. I thought it structured it all very well, and it got me even more engaged with everything going on, and it gave me more Harley Quinn narration, which was great, and I'm really impressed with the way this movie was written. Christina Hodson, she's written some movies that aren't very good, like Shut In and Unforgettable, unforgettable. And as soon as I heard that she was writing Bumblebee, I kind of got worried because of those two movies, but she did a really great job on that one, and she's upped her game even more with Birds of Prey. I'm honestly really excited to see what she does next, because she's really blossoming to be a fantastic writer that I want to see more of. Another thing I need to mention is that the action scenes are so good. The thing about Suicide Squad is that it's really dark and murky as far as cinematography wise, and the action scenes are all just kind of lame or just kind of goofy. This movie, it gets really intense at certain parts. Like, there's a couple hits that they do that kind of reminded me of a John Wick movie. So I'm really happy that this movie was rated R, because it gave you moments like that you weren't kind of expecting, because it's a goofy comic book movie. Then boom, an arm breaks or a leg breaks. It's like, oh my god, this is wonderful. Every single action scene was a lot of fun. It got you really in the zone of it because of the great sound editing that was going into all the hits, and the choreography that went into staging all these action scenes. Very well done. Also, it's just a ton of fun. So when you have that perfect combination of great action and great humor and a great cast to back it up, it really does create a very enjoyable experience overall. And obviously, aside from Margot Robbie, who's the only one I've mentioned, the rest of this cast is great. Rosie Perez as Renee Montoya was really fun here. She does a really great job playing this cop that they kind of make fun of, as far as she is a very stereotypical kind of movie cop, but that kind of added some charm to the movie. I was totally fine with it. Journey Smollett-Bell, who plays Black Canary, she did a really great job here too. She has a lot to work with. She has a great singing voice to accompany the role that requires to have a great singing voice, obviously, so she had a lot of great stuff to work with as far as her character. And all these characters interact with each other really well too. It doesn't feel like some of it is forced, some of it's phony, or they didn't connect well. All of them, I thought, did a really great job connecting as far as where their stories kind of line up and how they've met before. It goes back to why I like the writing by Christina Hodson so much, is that they establish certain things earlier on, and you kind of see how they come into play later, and it just makes perfect sense, and it's great revelations, and it's great character work. Ella J. Basco plays Cassandra Cain, and she's like the youngest one out of them. She's a kid actor, and she does a really great job holding her own against all these obviously very talented people, but she does a really great job holding her own. She doesn't feel like the awkward kid that's shoehorned in that some movies have, like a kid actor that's supposed to be there, but they're not the best at what they do, no faults of their own, just maybe they weren't ready. She was really great. She really handled this character very well. Mary Elizabeth Winstead is badass, and she has a really great story arc to accompany what she's doing. And the way they kind of humorized her character too, I thought that was really well done, but hands down, I think maybe my favorite performance out of this entire movie was Ewan McGregor, who is having so much fun as Roman Sionis. He is having a total blast. He's an obvious dickhead. There's certain scenes with him that was like, oh my god, because he does some disturbing stuff with Victor Zsasz that's like, ugh. But the way he plays it is so menacing, it's so convincing, but then he just has fun with it. He just kind of lets loose, and it's like, that's a really great way to really elevate this villain that has a backstory. You understand the drive that is pushing this villain, but it just helps even more that he's not a forgettable one, because you have that really fun performance as well. As far as some issues that I could have with this movie, there's one moment where the movie kind of goes into like Harley Quinn's mind for a moment, and it was just a little distracting because it kind of went by too quickly and it was kind of edited a little weird, but even then I kind of got the gist of what they were trying to do. Just maybe, I guess maybe I just wouldn't have edited that way personally myself. And I'd say there's a couple things character-wise, not anything major, but they just kind of gloss over it a little too quickly, and I think just a little more dwelling on certain things maybe would have helped. But kind of similar to what I said with my last issue, it's not a big deal overall. It's just a smaller thing that maybe if they had worked on a little bit more, it would have improved the movie in a tad way. But overall, I had a really fun time with this movie, and I wasn't really expecting that. I honestly was walking in thinking like, okay, this might be really fun at best, but I don't know, it could be lacking in a lot of ways. I was really impressed overall with how they handled this movie. It's now my favorite DCEU film, and I'm so happy. Please keep Kathy Yan involved with the DCEU in some way, because she really directed the hell out of this movie. And Christina Hodson, if you want to keep her around too, that would be really great, because these two really worked well together as a directing-writing duo. And it would be really cool to see what else they could do with the Birds of Prey in the future, with Harley Quinn in the future, or with other DC projects if they wanted to. I would be totally up for it. I'm going to give Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn an A-. It's a ton of fun. It really impressed me how much I liked it. It was really impressive how they decided to tell their story, and it had the sense of humor that it had, but it also had enough character development with these guys to get you so attached to them. And obviously when you're meeting most most of them for the first time, that really helps when you can kind of get an instant attraction to them, or you have like an instant like intrigue to them, like, oh, what's this character about? And I can't wait to see more of them in the future. I hope there's more of them to come in the future. I hope this movie does really well, because the fact that this is the best DCEU film, and probably people aren't really expecting it to be, and probably people are thinking like, well, it's not Superman or Wonder Woman, so maybe I can skip it. That honestly just makes me feel kind of icky. Please go see this movie. It's the best. Please go see it. But if you've seen Birds of Prey, leave in the comments below what you thought of it. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe. I'm Jackson Fulcher. See you guys next time.